Hello, IELTS Energy listeners. We get to learn from a successful IELTS student today. I would love to introduce Zainab. Zainab, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. That's my pleasure.
So, you are here because you are a successful IELTS student. Guys, listen up today because we need you to know that it's possible. Your dream scores, your dream life after IELTS, this is all possible, guys. So that's why we're talking to a real student today to find out how is this even possible. um so without further ado, Zainab, can you tell us what your scores were on your most recent IELTS exam?
I got band 7.
That's amazing. So overall band 7, you
Yeah.
got some 8s in there, you got listening 8, speaking 8. Amazing scores. Are these the scores that you needed?
Yeah, those are fine.
Okay. Awesome. Now, why did you take the exam? What are these scores for?
I wanted to study abroad. So, as an international student, of course, I need an IELTS or TOEFL degree. So that's why I took
Yeah.
an IELTS exam.
Okay. And what are you going to study?
I'm actually thinking either psychology or something in the science field.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and now you can. All right, so let's find out how this happened. Now, had you taken the test before, or was this your first time taking IELTS?
No, actually, I took IELTS 2 times. So the first time was in 2019, and the second time is my recent IELTS test in July 15th.
Okay, awesome. So the scores you got in 2019, I know that's a few years ago, like that's a while ago.
Yeah,
But what scores did you get back then?
I got an overall band 6. I got 6 on speaking and listening, and I got 5.5 on both reading and writing.
Wow. Okay. So when you figured out that you had to take the test again,
Yeah.
you realized you needed higher scores. Is that why you got into Three Keys IELTS?
Um, Actually, 6 was fine to apply in a scholarship in my country,
Oh, okay.
but unfortunately, the certificate has expired, so I needed to take the IELTS test again.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you already were like a 6 is fine, then
Yeah.
why did you decide to take Three Keys IELTS?
I wanted to I wanted to challenge myself because I
Yeah.
believe I did not prepare well at the first time. I did not
Okay.
know anything about IELTS, to be honest. So I was
That
surprised that I got a 6.
Yeah, man, that would be really difficult. This is a
Yeah.
really hard test. But that's awesome. So, while you were going through the course, what do you think helped you the most to increase these scores? So, just like to summarize, guys, Zainab increased her listening by 2 whole band points, reading by half a band, writing by a whole band point increase, and speaking 2 whole band point increases. So everything went up. Amazing. Um, have you thought about like what exactly was it that clicked with you in the course to help you in see such huge increases?
First of all, I trusted the course because you are an ex IELTS examiner.
Yeah.
That's And the course has provided me with so many details about the test that I did not know before.
Nice.
If I
Yeah,
knew these information before, maybe I would have done better than a 6, to be
for
honest with you.
sure. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, knowing what to expect is half the battle for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like if you don't know what the IELTS examiner needs to hear in speaking or needs to see in writing, what the heck is writing task one? Like all of this stuff, if you don't know these things, it's not innate. It's not obvious to anyone, even a native speaker going to take the test. If they don't prepare, they're not going to get nines. Like it's a hard test.
Yeah.
All right, let's think about test day.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that speaking 8, because I know speaking is scary. I think listeners, you can hear how amazing Zainab's English is. But what do you feel like got you that 8 on speaking on test day?
Uh, one one thing, I was not really nervous, to be honest. Okay,
Amazing.
and the examiner wasn't there. It was not a face-to-face conversation. It was a video
Oh.
call, so this helped a lot
Oh.
with my nervousness.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because you're kind of removed from the examiner, so it seems like some of the pressure is off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the examiner was really nice, to be honest. So it
Awesome.
was
That's
easy.
awesome. That's great. Man, just I mean, not being nervous. How did you manage to not be nervous on your speaking test?
I don't know. Maybe because there was time. There was a time between the actual test, reading, listening, and writing. There is a time where I can
Yeah.
relax and eat something,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
that helped.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now writing 6.5, amazing score. And you had increased it from a 5.5. That is a tough increase. That whole band point increase in writing is incredible. What would you say did that for you? How did you do that?
First of all, I learned from mistakes that I made. Maybe I don't remember the exact thing that I wrote in 2019, of course,
Yeah.
but um, the repetition, the grammar structures that you provided me on the course helped me a
Uh-huh.
lot. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Like in the template, those like sentence structures and linking phrases and all that, did you use all of the templates?
Not all of them, but most of them.
Okay.
I used a
Nice.
lot of blinking words. That was your
Yes.
a lot of blinking words. I was expecting a 7, to be honest with you. I don't know why I
Yeah.
got 6.5, but I'm fine with it. As
Okay.
long as it's 7, I'm fine.
Yeah, you got what you needed. All right. Now let's talk about how you organized your preparation because IELTS students, listeners out there, you know that there's a lot to prepare for. There is so much to do. There's so much to practice, to learn, to repeat again so you remember. So Zainab, how did you organize your time when you were preparing for IELTS?
Um, I'll be fully honest with you. I didn't have enough time to study the whole plan, you know?
Okay.
So I actually did not even finish the speaking section.
Really? No way.
Yeah, I did not finish it. So, but because I have as you can hear me, I have fluent English and I do understand most of the things. So
Yeah,
that helped a lot.
of course.
But
Yeah.
I was actually focusing on my weakness points, which was writing and reading. I
Okay.
struggled
Yeah.
a lot with writing and reading, so I studied them really well, according to the test.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. That's incredible, Zainab. You got an overall 7 and you didn't even follow the whole study plan. That's
yeah,
amazing. Okay, but I mean that makes sense. You knew that you needed the reading and writing the most, so I'm sure you like followed the whole plan for reading and writing.
yeah,
What about listening? Did you study some of our listening tips?
yeah. I studied them all.
Okay, cool.
Listening was the easiest part for me, to be honest, because I used to listen to your podcast before, having the course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. That's so fantastic. All right, Zainab, if you could give advice to people out there, there's listeners like I can't do that. I can't get an 8 on listening or speaking like Zainab did. I don't have time. Life is so hard. It is. We're all busy adults and life is tough, man. Stuff happens to get in the way. But if you stay focused, you can get the IELTS scores you need. So, Zainab, do you have any advice for test takers out there who are feeling a bit lost or nervous about their exam?
Sure, I do have two important tips. I
Awesome.
wish someone told me that before. First of all, you have to focus on one source and one source only, because having so many sources will distract you. It will cause you a lot of trouble. And
Yeah.
there is no right and wrong on the IELTS techniques out there, but you have to focus on one thing because this will help you a lot during the test day.
Yes.
Second
Yeah.
thing, make sure that you know your weakness points. So when you will book the test, you make sure that you have the proper amount of time to be fully prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I love it. I love those two tips. Those are things I say to students all the time. Yeah, I love that. So exactly, there's not like one exact correct way to write an argument essay, let's say, and there's not one exact way to organize your reading strategy time, right? You do need a system though, and so choosing a system and just going with that is the only way. Yeah, I've had some students have real difficulties trying to like just cobble together different resources, right? Which is impossible. You can't take like 2 steps from this guy and 3 steps from this lady. Like what they're telling you leads to different outcomes. You know what I mean? And if you combine those, then it's impossible. It's unclear and it's unusable. So for sure, I love that. Focus on one IELTS strategy system, definitely. And then know your weaknesses. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's very, I mean, you had your old scores to tell you what your weaknesses were, right? But still, I still find students who are great at listening and speaking, for example. So they pretty much just practice that because it's easy.
Yeah.
They'll do lots of listening tests because they know they're going to do well. They speak out loud a lot because that's what they're used to and they like doing. But the reading and writing, those things are just like, oh no, never. And so of course you're not going to get better at those things if you don't do them.
That's right. I totally.
Okay. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, guys, if you want access to the same 3 Keys IELTS online course that Zainab used, go to allearsenglish.com/KEYS. And remember that now, guys, you get lifetime access. And there are more opportunities to talk and interact with other students, more speaking practice, more community time. And you also, guys, everyone gets personalized feedback and scores on their final practice test in 3 Keys IELTS. So check that out, guys. allearsenglish.com/KEYS. And also hit follow right now if you're not following this podcast. Awesome. Thank you, Zainab, so much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.